I've got a very interesting exercise for you now, folks. I know many of you have a problem with colour mixing, so we're going to deal with this in quite a few different projects. This is the first project we're going to do. Now, we're not going to do the whole picture yet. I will actually be doing this picture later on, but what I'm going to do is do a section of it. You see what I've done over here, look, to make it easier to understand. I've taken a section there, and I'm going to show you how to mix those colours. Now, this is a photograph that we've got, and these are the colours that I want to produce. So I'm going to do two bands of colours. I'm going to first of all do that band of colour and that band of colour, and they actually work together. So let's start the ball rolling by showing you the first colour we use. And what we're going to use first of all is the grey. Now this is 230, okay? Now I'm going to actually go right across here, right to the end, because I'm going to show you in a band how we reach for the final colour at the end. Okay, so there we are. Now, make sure that you've got plenty down. One of the great things about the 230 is that it's a natural blender, so you can use your finger just to push the colour into the paper, or you can use a colour shaper. It doesn't matter. And get as much of that dust as you can, because that's going to help us to fill the paper tooth up. I'm using the ombre paper. As I say, in ombre we use everything. Okay, so that's the base colour for the lighter area. That's this area. This is the area we're going to be doing first. I'll be doing that on the lower half of this, okay? So let's start the ball rolling with the second colour. Now the second colour is 233. And this goes on. We'll leave this alone because we know that that's 230, I mean. So now we use the 233. Now 233, going on over the whole lot, will blend into the 230 because we have a natural colour. But just to make sure, it's always a good idea just to use your colour shaper. You could use your finger, but I think probably in this case I'd use the colour shaper, because this is what I would use if I was using it on a project. Okay, so there we are. Now we've got the second colour on. Okay, now the next colour we're going to use here is 181. Remember, what we're trying to do is to reach this colour here. Okay, now 181 goes on here. I'm going to leave this alone. So we've got 230, 233 and 181. We're getting darker now, but you see we're still not dark enough. And that, again, we can use, let's clean this up. And now we're getting darker still. We're getting towards the colour we want. Remember, it's the lighter of the two colours. We're not going for this one, we're going for this one. And you can see now we're getting there. And that's 181 in there. Now, if we come back on our picture, you can see that what we have is a slight bias. Can you see this mauvey look in here? Now, on the picture, on the actual photograph, I'm going to be using the next colour I'm going to show you a lot. Certainly in the ear a lot. So it's going to not so much on the brown fur, but certainly on all of this grey fur. I'll almost certainly be using the next colour, and that colour is, folks, 169. So now 169. Now 169 goes in here to give us a tone like that. Again, I'm going to leave just a little section of that. Back to my colour shaper again and mix that in. Now we don't want too much of that, because what we don't want to do now is to make it too pink. It's a tone. Now we've got a choice to make. We can either use the 181 or the black. Now I'm going to use 181 first of all. Now I've used 181 here, but I'm going to use it again. This time I want it to be just a little bit darker. Okay. Now we have a tone now that we didn't have before here, and we're getting close to this colour. You also got to remember that there's a bias on this picture, quite a lot. I can't do anything about that. That's the photographic image I've got. Which blue? You could put a bit of blue in there if you wanted to, but I'm not going to. I don't think it's necessary. So anyway, I'm going to use the grey, the 181 on there, and then on top of that, I'm going to use a little bit of black. I don't want too much black. And then I'm going to blend that. Now what we have now is a tone on the lighter colours. But what if we want to go that colour? As you can see, that's nowhere near that colour, but it's very close to that tone. What we do then is we ignore 230, and on this lower band I'm going to put in 233. Immediately we get a darker tone. Now it goes all over, exactly the same way. But this time, rather than use my finger, I'm going to use a colour shaper. Because the problem now is, because we've got a darker colour, we don't get the same smoothness, for want of a better word, that the 230 would give us. You see that? Now we just put a bit more in. However, we don't really mind that because we're going to be using so much colour on here that eventually it will fill the colour up, the paper up. Look at the difference between those two colours tones. Now what we do now is we can do either or really, it doesn't really matter. We can either use the 169 or the 181. It depends what the emphasis is. Now we know here that the emphasis is on grey rather than mauve. The mauve is a tint, therefore I don't want to put the mauve next, so I'm going to put the 181 next. Because I want the mauve, the 169, to be a tint colour like that, rather than making its mark. And there we are, that's 181. And this is interesting, this because you've got this progression, these bands of progression coming down here. Okay, that's 181, but you can see the original colours. Now we want the 169, but the 169 here goes on not quite so strong, but it's a hint of colour, okay? Now what we want to do is to reach that colour. So what we come here to do now is the black, and the black goes directly on now. Look at the difference between here and here. This is because we've got all these other colours here, but this one, we've got just the black. And there we have a very strong black tone. You can blend that in, and you can see the difference between that and that. Yet, we're using the same colours, with the exception of back here, we've got the 230 as a base running through the whole thing, weakening the ultimate end product. Here we've got 233, which is considerably darker, and look at the difference we've got there. There you go, folks. That's number one. I'm going to be doing other sections. We're going to be doing the ear, I'm going to be doing the eye, and I'm going to be doing the fur here. Only the stronger areas of the fur in other exercises. And then later on you'll be seeing the whole project done, where I'll be using all these colours. I hope you've enjoyed that. Look forward to the next one.